Have you ever wondered if there was another Amazon seller down the street from you? Well, now with this tool, you can find out the answer to that. Go start a mastermind, whatever you want. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. I'll talk today about SmartScout. Real quick before I do that, one of the things that immediately pops into my mind is that Amazon aggregators, that's brands that are going to go acquire other brands and create a conglomerate list of selling opportunities across accounts, are probably going to find a lot of value in this tool. Not only that, Amazon sellers who are looking to congregate with other Amazon sellers will probably also find value in this tool. So let's take a look at this and come in here. And the reason why I think those Amazon aggregators will probably find value in this is because there's a variety of ways you can search for Amazon sellers in here. So this is like just the generic, like, let me see the entire United States. And there's thousands and thousands of sellers. So, if we wanted to go look in New York, there's a big blob of New York sellers in here, right? And I've put no filters on so far. I'm just kind of zooming in, and you can see, okay, Thermal Brands, $6 million company, and it's on William Street here in New York, right? Like, pretty cool data and intel. You got Over stores at 69 million, probably one of the bigger sellers on Amazon, right? So it's really cool because you can see the bubbles. They made this tool so that it showed the bigger sellers in a bigger bubble. So if you really want to look at that, not only that though, you can choose how many sellers are on the map. So like let's see, like, okay, 300,000. Let's see if this breaks the computer. We'll see what happens here, and you can test a lot of different filters: monthly revenue, category. You can even type in a specific seller name. So maybe you've got IMAP problems and there's a brand out there and you're like, I'm trying to learn where they are right now. Amazon changed this recently in the last few months that you can now look up a seller directly on Amazon and grab their information. And this tool is probably populating all of that public info and putting it all into a map. So let's check it out and see what this thing can do. The 300,000 number of sellers map has finally populated here, and I'm just going to scroll my mouse. You can see that there's just countless amounts of sellers throughout the area, right? Just like giant bubbles. And zooming in is making this pretty laggy, but it's pretty fun to kind of check this out. So let's say we were in the New York area on this street and we wanted to get together with other sellers that have, some near sellers next to me. Well, these three guys, they're neighbors, right? They can check each other out. There's a little hub right here as well. Get together, get a little mastermind going. All right, so now let's, I'm going to back out here. I'm going to go to categories. And so here's another idea I had. Like, let's say I'm an Amazon aggregator and I want to buy a bunch of brands that are all in the same category. So let's say I'm on the hunt for baby brands, right? And I know that my target market is somewhere between 800,000 and 3 mil. So let's search this and see what happens. All right, so we immediately know that these are the target areas. So New York, California, and Florida, no surprise there, right? But let's just go down to Florida for funsies here. So down in Fort Lauderdale area, we got Baby Katan LLC. In Orlando, we got Replay Products and Mason Drake. So if I was going to go try and proposition these baby brands because I knew I wanted to go buy like 4 baby brands, because maybe I own a baby brand and I want to go acquire more baby brands, this is an easy and fast way to like ascertain like where they're located. And maybe I'm going to go make a little airplane trip down to Florida and go knock on some doors or whatever it might be, right? So you can see we've got seller ID numbers. We've got their monthly revenue, how much they do FBA, how many SKUs they've got covered, their business name, where they're located. And while this tool is not releasing phone number and a bunch of other information, that information is also available because Amazon has released it publicly. But so we can come in here and see, okay, here's their best seller, right? So we know what their monthly revenue is. So this brand is predominantly in the Wonderfold SKU right here. Pretty cool looking thing here. I've got 3 kids under 5. I probably could fit 3 kids in this, right? Oh man, one of the best marketing emails I ever saw. I forget the name of it because it was my wife who saw the email. And they had a purse that they were trying to sell. And the way that they would try and demonstrate like the banana for scale concept, they would show you how many bunnies could fit in each purse. And women wanted to have a certain number of size purses anyway. So thought that was funny and cute. And if you're ever looking to market something, always find a creative way to do that banana for scale shot, because everybody wants to know. They can't touch and feel your product, so you got to give them an opportunity to touch and feel through online imagery. So we know that this particular brand is heavily one SKU focused, right? Like that's 80% of what these guys do. And we can scroll down and see that they also sell a bunch of other things. So I don't know on first glance if these are well-known brands. Maybe these guys are a retailer. Maybe they did one private label and the rest of these are other brands that they cover. Don't know for sure. But at least we can get a pretty good gander at them. We know they do $1 million a month in revenue. So I guess that top SKU is less than 80% based on that. But eyeball on this, I'm not sure how that adds up to $1 million. We'll check that out. Let's also say that you're on one of those Quiet Light brokerage subscription emails, Empire Flippers, whatever it might be, where you're watching what accounts are available for sale. Well, before you even have to sign the NDA, you could come in here, type in their name, and find out a bunch of intel on their products, right? So just a great opportunity to get some insights before you even know if you want to move forward. Maybe you do want to move forward and you're doing some due diligence. You can get a lot of insight before you even have access to the account, before you even have to put a deposit down. A lot of good insight that would give you. So I just typed in Gap as the seller name, and we can look at a variety of people who have the word Gap in it. So maybe you forgot the name of the seller and you just have a partial match. I guess that's another way to figure that out. But let's say you could sort this by monthly revenue to figure out like, okay, which one of these is the one? I heard about them somewhere. I went to a trade show and couldn't figure it out. Just a food for thought there. All right, going back to the map here, I was just curious, like, what if we put $50 million in here? Like, how many $50 million sellers are there? Well, we got Amazon. I think that's 7 billion, if I'm reading that right. We got Zappos at 88, Jiangsu at 66, Buy Register at 78, and we got a couple over here in New York. So Overstores and Just Love Fashion. So not very many above the 50 million mark. What is that? 6. So 6 if you count Amazon.com, 5 if you don't. And obviously Zappos is a pretty large competitor, especially in that specific niche. All right, let's pull that down to 40 million. Let's see how much of a difference this makes with 40 million. So 9 sellers found with 40 million. Let's go down to 30 million. I'm just curious like where the break's going to be. So 13 sellers. There really aren't a lot of giant sellers on Amazon. This is monthly revenue, by the way. So 20 million. So 28 sellers at 20 million. Let's go down to 10. Let's see what that looks like. Now we're getting a bigger break rate. So it's now up to 79 sellers. All right, so let's knock this down to 8 million. 102 sellers. Go down to 5 million, 211, and then let's go down to 2 million, 755. So that gives you an idea of just how big the competition is out there. Now let's go down to 1 million, and here's where I think we're going to see a lot. Yeah, so there's well over 1,000. Let's search 5,000. Yeah, so there's 1,800 companies that are more than $1 million per month. And we have a couple of those in our roster at My Amazon Guy. But not very many of them. Very interesting insight to see that only 1,800 brands do more than $1 million a month on Amazon. Well, so hopefully you found that particular part helpful. The next thing I'm going to show you is this traffic graph, which there used to be another tool in the market. It was free online. You could come and check it out. And I don't know what the name of it was. It's been so long since I've seen it, but it went away. And so Scott over here at SmartScout rebuilt this thing. And this is really clever, right? So I'm going to walk you through what this is. This is basically a cloud of information connecting products, right? So now if you go into, let's look at one that's kind of in the middle, right? So if we go scroll into this one here, and I'm gonna zoom in here. So if somebody buys this product or looks at this product, there is a likelihood, if you follow the yellow lines, they are commonly going to purchase these other two products. And this is a good way to just kind of chart this out to see it. Now, if you scroll out, you can see the purple lines. The purple lines show people who went to the product after they viewed another one or made another purchase. So it shows inbound and outbound acquisition of similar products. So you could play around with this, and I just typed in wine gift. Didn't really get a lot of wine gifts on my particular search here, but apparently people who are looking at socks are going to buy other socks. That makes sense. And then you somehow get connected over into bed sheets and baby products. So you can kind of get an idea. Now, how I would use this tool is I would look at this and say, what are some complementary products that I'm lacking in my brand right now, right? Like, what could I add to complement my brand right now? This is a great way or a tool that you could use to figure out like where you should explore next. And data can be overwhelming sometimes. So seeing data in multiple ways, including a graph or a chart like this, can be extremely helpful. Here's a zoomed in version. I just typed in apple slicer, right? So not only can you see the chart, but you can also see a little bit of data, like this particular ASIN, what the price of it is, how many sellers, what commonly was inbound and outbound. Again, very valuable insight. So like, okay, if somebody was buying an apple slicer, they also might like whatever this is. I think this thing gets rid of cherry pits or something. Could be wrong on that. So you get an idea of like complementary products in a variety of different means. Now, I did try and look up some of my own products. I did get a little bit of error. Oops, not found. I don't know if this is still a work in progress, but don't be surprised if you put some data in and it doesn't quite populate on the traffic flow and graph. SmartScout also has some other cursory tools that you might be familiar with in like a Jungle Scout or a Helium 10, where you can go and explore categories, look at the niches. So in this product category, I've selected baby products. You can see a bunch of things that show up and get some intel on them as well. Most people are familiar with those, so I won't be demoing that here. So if you're interested in checking out SmartScout, you can go over to smartscout.pro. And you can see the pricing right here. So it's about $100 a month, or you can get an annual subscription and save quite a bit. In the homepage, you can see you can get a start. You can start with a 7-day free trial if you want to check that out. And down here, here's all the features. So they're actually comparing themselves head to head right against Jungle Scout, Helium 10, and Keepa. And here are some on-demand data. Everybody's got that. Everybody's got category filters. But SmartScout has some additional filters, product counts, monthly revenue filters, and it's exportable to some additional areas. Here's the product fields. So, and then brand fields. So here's where they're claiming that they've got things that nobody else has on the market. So this is a differentiator to the products. So it shows all of the information about the brands, as well as the seller IDs, the seller information. That's what's unique. So you can kind of see like how this tool would compare to others. So probably the most crossover here with Keepa, as you can see there, they've self-diagnosed that themselves. So a competitor to Keepa there. Well, my name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. We do videos all the time on various tools. So if you want to see other tool reviews, click on this subscription or this next playlist, if you will.